So we've got our shields added to the game now, but I want to go ahead and add a game over condition so that we can add some scoring and start a new game and actually have it playing out like a real game. So in this video, I'm just going to be setting up a few things to get that working. We want to add this blue bar across the screen so that it'll be just above the cannon and below the shields, so that if a halo gets through our shields and hits this thing, then game over. So to get that all set up, let's add some new sprite nodes, and I'll call this one life bar and set it to be a new SK sprite node, and the image is named blue bar. Now we need to give this a position, obviously, so go ahead and create a new CG point. So on the x-axis here, we want to go self.size.width and multiply it by half because we want it positioned in the center of the screen. And then on the y-axis, I'm going to put it at 0.70 because I want it to be just below where the shields are at 0.90. So next up, in order to get it interacting with our halos, we need to have some sort of physics body here. So let's go ahead and add a physics body. So equals SK physics body. So we can use an edge for this because it's just a line really. So pretty simple, and it's also not going to move anywhere. So an edge is just fine for our purposes here. So we'll create a new point here. Now remember, because we're positioning it in the center of the screen, we need to sort of move in the negative direction here for the first point. So, but we could use the size of the life bar to work out how wide it is. So for the x-axis, let's go negative life bar dot size dot width multiplied by a half. But we don't want to move it anywhere on the y-axis. But then for the second point, we just want the same thing without the negative. So size.width times by a half and 0. Cool, so that's done. But now we also need a new category bit mask for the life bar. So let's create a new constant up here for that. So we can just copy and paste that and update the name of it here to be life bar category. And also don't forget to update the bit shifting position there so we get a new value. And then we can use that down here. So lifebar.physicsbody.category bitmask equals lifebar category. Now we don't need to worry about the collision bit mask here. We don't need to set it on the life bar because our life bar is an edge. There's no way it's going to move anywhere anyway. So that's fine. But we do obviously need to add our life bar to the scene. So main layer, add child, life bar. And now in order to get it interacting with our halos, let's also, or in the on the contact test bit mask, let's add to the halo our new life bar category for that one as well. And so then when we get a contact in our didBegin contact method, we can put a new if statement in here for that and update this to be the life bar category and update our comment. And so this is where our game over, we know that we've got a game over if we get into this block of code here. So that's all good. But one thing that I want to do here is I've actually created a new type of explosion that I want to add for the life bar. So let's have a look at that. So this here, I've just created the explosion using the Spark template, and I've sort of set a few values in there to get it looking how I want. But the main thing that I've done here to get this spread across here is to update the position range to be 320, so the width of the screen, so that it'll kind of look like the whole bar's blowing up. So in order to add that one to our scene, what I'm going to do is just refactor this add explosion method to also include the name instead of having it here. So let's just add a new parameter in here. So with name, and it needs to be an NS string, and we'll just call it name. And then instead of halo explosion here, we can just put a name in there, and then we can just update these calls to that method to pass in the name that we want to use. And so that means that we can also then take that whole line and add one for the second body's position, which is obviously the life bar, and then pass in here life bar explosion. And so now we should see when those hit that we'll get both the halo exploding and the life bar exploding. And so obviously if you wanted to, you could sort of go ahead and use the same technique there to add more explosions for, say, the shields and the balls, if you want to go ahead and do something like that. But let's just run this and see whether that's all working properly. Cool, so our life bar is there. So let's just wait and see whether some of these halos can get through our shields and blow us up. Here we go. Cool. So we're getting that explosion there. So we've now set up a place where we can start to process the game over condition. And in the next video, we'll get stuck into sort of making the game reset itself so we can actually play a full game.